Proxy, Tower Gaming, PTG, Hyper G, Lucky Sixes.
Guten Tag.
Done that one recently. I'm sure you
Yeah,
have.
I know I have. But, well, what's an
Still
Askalander? It's
applies.
like Finnish, I guess. I don't know Finnish.
Finish. I'm sure that's probably not right, but
No?
we'll go with it. They could be, Yeah.
Scandinavia.
Well, that would probably be easier to apply. But anyway, we are. I mean, you're in the right geographical area because that is a very half the topic of the battle.
It
The
is,
Asklanders.
yes.
This is a continuation, an
It is.
escalation, you could call it.
Very much so. This is part 2. So go check out part 1, which is just the previous batrep. For what it's worth, but now we're on to the serious game. The top of the shop fantasy battles, Asklanders versus ogres.
Yeah, and as much as we tried to make it an escalation story, in that the advantage in the second game would go to the person who won the first game, we ended up drawing. So, I mean, you did get 75 more victory points than I did, so technically you won. But we thought it was so close to call that we would call it a draw, which is officially what it was in essence anyway.
Yes. So it meant, sort of looking back, that battle was essence, and our whole escalation thing which was what we were talking to our Patreon, talking to our YouTubers, talking to you, and we had a choice of 3 armies each, of which you. So I still love that. Chose potentially orcs, ogres, and cultists. Me, and that's on my left side. That's my good side. That one is Asklanders, vampires, and high elves. We did it up randomly, and we got Asklanders versus ogres. That was like the essence of war was like a pre-battle. Which led us on to this one, which is where we are now.
Minor engagement.
Yes. Yeah, and we did have we've got 2 lists already pre-made for each. We're only going to show you the one because it's the most relevant. But maybe if we do this thing again, which obviously like, share, subscribe, put in the comments if you want us to, then we may bring out different lists for each of these.
These final lists that we played with were like the essence list with bolt-ons added to them.
Yes.
So what you're seeing is our original essence lists plus things added, as best as can be converted into the full battle.
The first of which is your ogres, so take it away.
So you will see element. I'll try and point out the bits that have carried through from essence where I can. Very much still got the Khan Spine Splitter, big name Spine Splitter. He was carried through. He did gain a battle standard with the Banner of Speed. He's just say battle standard. I thought I forgot, but yes, he has. He also gained heavy armor with a mammoth Pike cloak and an iron fist. So there's a few extra tweaks that you can make in the full game that you obviously can't in essence, for very good reason. Simplification, me being the main one.
Yeah.
A mammoth hunter was added completely. He was not in the essence game at all. He had light armor, paired weapons. The supernatural dexterity was originally on the Khan and has now been passed over to the mammoth hunter.
Shuffled.
Which I felt was allowed, even though it isn't really the same model having the same weapon. He's got a hunting spear, rod of battle, lightning vambrace, his headhunter, and leader of the pack. In fact, I didn't even get the card out for lightning vambraces. Oh no, so I did actually. Yes, it's because it's Hand of Heaven now, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I did ignore that. Cut that. You won't.
I won't.
And he's leader of the pack because the reason was I wanted to try him out with a unit of saber-tooth tigers, which is also added. But finishing off the characters, the Shaman is almost exactly the same as the Essence version. Book of Arcane Mastery doing something slightly different in the full game than it does in Essence. But still, essentially, he was a Pyro Adept. Stuck with 8 Bruisers in core. They had the Swift Stride banner added on with Pennant and the Great Grass Sky.
Yeah, essentially just the command and thing is added, right?
Yeah. So to the essence list.
Yeah, which is and what you'll see is a recurring theme and actually how similar, like even the character builds, which are the most things can be to fantasy battles, which is really really good. So
looking at the Shaman, he was built exactly the same as in essence. But easily updated,
and they translate quite nicely over. So as a precursor to this, do go check out that to see how this compare and how things work.
Yeah. It was really easy to convert them. Literally in seconds, you've got the same build. The rest of core 10 saber-tooth tigers, which is something that hasn't actually appeared on PTG since the Wooden Spoon Cup back in the day. But yeah, I wanted to try that out for fun. I gained 1 extra scrappling, got 31 now, might make all the difference. And shields and musician. 3 Tusker Cavalry, that was kind of like, you can't take single Tusker Cavalry in the full game. So I combined my 2 singles into a unit of 3, which is the minimum you can take. Then I've got paired weapons and full command. 2 units of 6 Yetis. It's very much a fluff choice. I wanted to see how they were. I know no one takes big units of Yetis, but this was just seeing what we could do. And also, a lot of the fun we'd had with Essence was they were agility 4 plus the touch of frost -1 agility in Essence. And in the main game, they're only agility 3. So that was the kind of thing that Essence is working towards, evening out things to make them proper. And I just wanted to play Yetis, really. Then I've still got the 4 Bombardiers. They've just added a musician, so same unit, just add a command model. And then 2 Frost Mammoths, which is kind of the theme of reducing agility for my opponents. That was kind of the list idea. Obviously, it doesn't work overly well with bruisers, because bruisers are great weapons. But the idea was that I would be making my slow ogres attack first. For the most part. And ogres with crossbows.
They're big old frost mammoths. So
yeah, I've never used frost mammoths. I've always used rock aurats. Have a bit of fun with it.
So over to myself, and I'll skip the first one for now, because the Asklander Chief Jarl was in it and was on a War Deus. Did have a shield, did have a heavy armor, and all literally just added Death Cheater and Rod of Battle, because they are obviously now options in the fantasy battles. The Sedkina Dark Chariot, Wizard Adept, Shamanism, Light Armor, Basalt Infusion rather than Hardening Infusion. See what they did there.
The equivalent,
paired weapons already had. Binding Scroll already had. Didn't use it. So literally just added Magical Heirloom to that. Nice. So my characters are very, very similar in that regard, with maybe 1 or 2 extras. So they've picked up some items on the way. The big addition, I guess, for this one is, as this is my monster Askalander list, as much as I could anyway. So I had an Asklander Chief on a Wasteland Behemoth, because that sounded really cool. He is my BSB with 2 Ether Icons for a bit of magic resistance. Heavy armor is irrelevant, but is on him. Got paired weapons and Symbol of Slaughter, which just means he's got like 6 attacks, which is awesome. And Lightning Vamp Braces for a bit of extra magic, because I'm only an adept. And that's it for characters. So we go straight on to core, and like in Essence, I had 12 Askelander Horsemen. I've literally just added the musician, because they had light lances in the thing. I had 24 paired weapon Asklanders, because I could in the previous one. I've got 2 of them. I should say I've got 2 Asklander Horsemen as well. And I literally just added a full command, and 1 of them has a Rending Banner. So it's real simple upgrades. Not really thinking too much about it. Warhound's exactly the same. Actually, the same points. From Essence to Fantasy Battles. So it's very, very similar in that regard. 21 Huskarls I've got was standard. I just added full command, so they were in there from before. 8 Trolls, Ice Trolls, because
baby.
They look wicked, and the flaming protection.
Reroll flaming attacks against them is
really good.
That's Troll's weakness, is flaming attacks, and Ice Trolls aren't as weak.
So you either reroll to wound against them if you have flaming and they don't get an Aegis, or you don't and they have an Aegis. It's just I think it's so good. 3 Wargs are the same. The Kraken's the same, and I've added a Marauding Giant because it is a monster list. So I have to add some giants in. Big Brother and Tribal War Spear, which actually for this turns out really good. Because of the multiple C3 on towering though. But they are 2 mammoths to try and hunt down.
And we very much did this with the idea that we aren't tailoring each other's. So
this was already picked.
It's purely by chance that I've got big beasties.
I should say I completely forgot that they could go in a unit. I'll preempt anything happening with he's not in a unit. for anybody hoping to see that. Sorry.
Despite the fact in a previous battle report you were done over by was it Mark Borland, putting them in a unit of Asklanders and surprising you with a multiple wounds attack from a giant.
It's like I don't learn, isn't it?
Or you blocked a defeat out of your memory because it didn't happen. You know. There you go.
Very true to the essence. Again, we played Frontline Clash and Secure Target, which is this Fantasy Battles version of that objective. So again, really, really easy to upscale or to downscale. And I know we in the previous battle we did lots of pros and cons of. Or pros really of like time saving and things like that. So I feel like this is a really good example of how it fits so nicely together.
Yeah, definitely.
And I wanted to shout about that really.
We definitely do
because Essence is really good. They're doing a great job, and I feel like it fits so nicely and so easily. But let's go on to the battle. Enough of that.
What we're here for.
Brown nosing. We're out. So this is after deployment, and
you spread out, don't you?
I had to. It was ridiculous. We get back to it, and we're doing 1-for-1. I realise I can drop for first because it's not Essence, and I immediately revert back to my safe play style in that regard. So I have 12 horsemen. On the left, the Marauding Giant with the green bit as his base, because I don't have a Big Brother base. The Shrieking Horror is actually the Behemoth BSB over there. We've got some Asklanders, 24 of them. The Ice Trolls dead centre, next to the General and within BSB range, because I don't want them being stupid. The General is in with the Huskals. The Chariot is behind them. Then next to the Huskals we've got the Dogs with Asklanders behind them. Then Horsemen again. Then a Kraken and the Wargs, which are the right side is the heavily proxied side.
Yeah.
For me.
I mean obviously we don't own Asklanders, so where warriors don't do, you know.
Yes.
A few vampires thrown in.
Absolutely. But that was my army, and looking to go on from there.
Over to my side. I did have actually a fair bit of Vanguard, but a lot of the Vanguard is not as useful when you're going against an opponent that heavily focuses on combat. Because a lot of the time with Vanguard, you want to do that to get to your enemy quicker than you normally would. And that doesn't really benefit much when your opponent just wants combat. So,
or as in this case, you don't have a flank to get around.
Well, exactly, right. Yes. Yeah, because you've spread out across the whole line, so there's no benefit in getting around the side quicker. But anyway, on my right to your left as you're looking at the picture, we did swap over the colours of the secure target and put them exactly where the old ones were, just for continuity, if nothing else. Why we flipped the colours over, I don't really know.
Mix it up, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So my right, your left, looking at it, is a unit of Yetis. Then the saber-toothed tigers with the hunter in them, and another unit of Yetis. So very much the vanguarders in the middle.
Yeah, man.
With a frost mammoth right behind. So with the Yetis -1 agility, touch of frost, and the -3 agility from the frost mammoth. Those units, I'm hoping, will be attacking first in combats that they're in. Then I've got the bruisers just kind of on the hill. They've got both the characters, the Shaman and the Spine Splitter Khan in them. The Scraplings are behind because I picked them in essence because it's really useful to have ranks in combat res. Doesn't really translate quite as well in the full game. So a big unit of Scraplings, probably not my focus for holding objectives in this one. And then on the hill, same place they were deployed last time, except I've changed their formation, is the Bombardiers. The Tuskers on my flank, basically squaring off against the Wargs, and then a Frost Mammoth behind to try and again boost the agility chances of my agility 2 ogres.
Yeah, nice.
There we have it.
And and
you were first.
I was first, but we did have Vanguard, and this is what happened for Vanguard. You pushed up.
Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot really. Obviously, I knew you were going first, so I didn't want to get you in charge range.
Yeah.
And knowing that I'd stacked my side of the board, it wasn't like I wanted to goad a charge, flee a charge, and then rally.
Sure.
Because I was only discipline 8 rerollable this time at least.
Yeah.
If I was in the right place. So yeah, it was a tentative vanguard at best.
Yeah. So this is, and I vanguarded my wargs up a little bit. I put them out over there because they are swift. Sorry, what's it called? Not Swift Stride Forest. Strider Forest. In fantasy battles, and I thought,
Aragon,
that'd be cool. And also I wanted them to get up the flank. You putting yourself there just meant they weren't going to get into your rear. So
no.
I'll see what I can do. So on to my first turn, and with the wargs, we'll stick with them. I just get proper aggressive. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know how else I can go forward. So I may as well use them as chaff. And get my Kraken up literally as much as possible so that he can charge and do stuff there.
You did keep the wargs out of the bruisers line of sight though.
I did. Yeah, that was crucial, I think, for me, because I didn't want the bruisers getting in the way of the Kraken. I feel like definitely the bombardiers, but even if I was able to charge the Tuskers, that still might be a good mix for me. The Tuskers, obviously, if I am going second because of how close I am to the Mammoth, are less preferable. So I would prefer to go against the Bombardiers, but we'll see what goes over there. Didn't really know what to do with the Horsemen, so I literally just put my dogs in front because they couldn't quite chaff the Bruisers this turn. So I kind of just put them in front and see what happened.
Didn't risk the Death Forest this time around, though.
No, not this time. Not knowing the damage that happened before. Asklanders,
because we are playing same terrain as well. You might notice. It's the same battlefield, basically.
It is. Asklanders next to them just move up to support. In the middle, I get proper aggressive. I'm like, I think I can take everything that's vanguarded up, and as long as I leave a long charge for the Bruisers, which I think was a 6/6. It might have been 11 actually.
I think it was 11 because I revealed I had a banner of speed on them, which you didn't actually know when you moved up.
I mean that was because I didn't look on the list, so that wasn't but so I moved up and I thought, all right, let's get the trolls into something where I can, using the little outhouse as flank cover. Chariot again, just going to try and pop off some wounds on the Mammoth if I can. The Horsemen on the very left are just setting up for later. I don't want to get too aggressive with them, but I do want to go for that objective. The monsters move up as much as they can because they're not really bothered, and the Asklanders are just sitting there waiting for the space to be cleared so that they can move up as well.
It was interesting with the Asklander Horsemen because one thing that we noticed was that they weren't heavy cavalry, i.e. they started up with a 3-up armor save instead of a 2-up where you'd probably move into heavy cavalry. But they had an ability in the Asklander book that is, if you're using a shield, you get +1 armor, which meant effectively, because you were armed with shields, you got a 2-up armor anyway.
Yeah, so
you had medium cavalry that counted as heavy cavalry. So it was really quite weird.
Yeah, really, really cool. And a rule like so the Asklanders both have that, and the Huskarls as well. But obviously the Asklanders use impaired weapons, so they don't benefit from that. There is a second rule of it, but I can't remember what it is.
Sure.
Into magic, and I get frostbite on both these units.
Very good hereditary spell. I mean, we were like, wow, is that really what it does? Do you want to say what it does? Cause,
yes, so it's +1 armor or -1 armor, depending on who you're targeting. I obviously targeting these guys, it was +1 armor, and on the higher version, which is only an 8, you can target 2 units. So I did, and my aggressive units both get it. I do get, as you can see, I've got scarification off from my chariots because I get a swarm of insects off on the Mammoth, but it doesn't do anything. So,
no, it didn't work.
So don't worry. I have no shooting, so we're on to the Ogres.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it was an 11 for my Bruisers, and I didn't see any consequence of failing that charge, so I went for it. Or what I did have the Swift Stride banner, so an 11 is possible, and I think that if I get into the Huskarls, it'll be a case of repeating the combat that saw the Bruisers eliminate all the Huskarls in the last Essence game. Obviously, it's slightly different. There's a few extra factors, but if anything, the fact that you've got your general in there, I also have my Spine Splitter and my Shaman in there. I've got more spells than I did in Essence, so I'm thinking it'll probably still go my way. So I felt it was worth a go. I charged my Tuskers and my Bombardiers into the Wargs. I think I did. It wasn't just the Bombardiers, was it? No, it was the Tuskers as well. Because I needed to get them out of the way, and I wasn't. The Kraken still had a long charge, even if I, only moved an inch forward. I was hoping that if I did get through the Wargs, which wasn't guaranteed with the units I was going in with, because I could only touch with 2 Tuskers instead of 3. I was hoping that maybe the Kraken would have too far to go to counter it if I did get through the Wargs. The other thing was that if I managed to charge with the Bruisers, as well as getting that Huskarl charge, which would, I think, be in my favour, moving them out of the way gave the Scraplings a chance to charge the flank of the Wargs, which isn't great in terms of combat prowess, but it does add a +4 to the static, or a +3 to the static with an extra 3 res, static res, and a few poking with sticks. So there was that plus for if the Bruisers managed to get in. So we rolled up the 1 charge that mattered.
And they failed.
And I think they went forward 2 inches. So kind of a wasted turn in terms of movement. I couldn't even use them to get into a better position. But if that charge had actually paid off, it would have been amazing.
For sure, it would have been massive.
Especially as the dogs had chaffed your own horsemen.
Yeah.
So, there wasn't really a worry about a flank too much. But yeah. Obviously, all my other units get in, but my Scraplings by default are now blocked, so I can't charge the flank of the Wargs.
And this is how you looked?
Yeah, and so based on the fact that my Bruisers didn't charge, I readdressed my lines and undid my Vanguard, basically. Which is a shame, because obviously Vanguard is supposed to give you an advantage. But I felt it was better to redraw my line than it was to fall into your Troll and Wasteland Behemoth trap, really.
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously I needed to keep the Frost Mammoths nearby with that agility thing. What was really cool was Pyroclastic Flow did exactly 5 wounds to the Warhounds.
Yeah, good. You rolled like 10 as well, and I was like, it's definitely done. And then you only did 5. I was like,
I did 5 wounds, and exactly. Warhounds dead. That's points, and no chaff for you. Bombardiers continue their good run of form in combat by doing a decent amount of wounds, only taking 2 back in return, but easily go through 8 HP worth of Wargs, which is pretty good, considering I only had 2 Tuskers attacking. But yeah, it means that the Warg does run away. I choose not to pursue.
Rightfully so.
I didn't want to make the charge any easier for the Kraken.
Yeah, man.
And also, I would have been out of Frost Mammoth range if I'd have gone too far forwards.
Yeah.
And the whole point of that is to be attacking before you. So.
For sure. So I take a. I think this was a reasonably long one. I think this was an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, and we worked out that Trolls didn't have Swift Stride because they're infantry, large infantry.
So I'm tempted to say 9. I think this was. They needed, but I was like, you know what? Worst case scenario, they stumble forward and they're next to my general, and I can just do it again. I could just keep doing it. And it might mean that if I go 6, say, you back off a bit. I'm really happy. I'm really happy with that. So it was kind of like, it felt like a charge to nothing. And the worst case scenario is I'd just turn around to the outhouse.
Yeah.
I also charge. I didn't have a pre-picture for it, but I did charge the Kraken who needed a 9, and he got in as well.
He did have Swift Stride.
Who did have Swift Stride. So
made both those charges. I was a bit gutted you made both. Man. I mean, obviously, I'd kind of like a lot of that flank for the Kraken was hopefully you don't get your long charge. You did have Swift Stride, you made it anyway, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then getting the Trolls as well, they will utterly destroy the Saber-Tooth Tigers. I just need to hope that I can hold with that and get flank charges when they yetis.
Yeah.
But it's not ideal having the Trolls up in my grill in turn 2.
Absolutely, and really, I'm at this stage. I'm like, well, I've got that bit of luck. Let's pounce on it and just push forward with my 2 monsters on the left, thinking that Behemoth can take some yetis. I don't think he's too bothered by it. Even with the strength 5 coming at him, I'm res 6, so should be okay. I rally with the Warg, which is interesting, and kind of back off on the right because I'm next to the objective. I don't want to allow his Bruisers to get in to anything. I I want to. I'm hoping my trolls will go through this thing, what they called
Sabertooths,
and not allow any counter charges as well. But as you say, it's just down to whether you hold. And I'm hoping to clean up the left side before the bruisers have a chance to get into anything.
Yeah.
Really,
especially with them failing their charge and only moving 2 inches, they really lost ground on that. And another thing was ice trolls are agility 1, so my whole agility flip around doesn't really work when you're attacking first. Anyway.
Yeah, they're kind of designed to go second anyway, so I'm hoping.
Ice trolls were just perfectly suited to go against my ogre list, really.
So just to add insult to injury, I get frostbite off.
Although that was the least preferred spell, if you remember, because you tried to cast 2 other spells on them.
So I can't remember what led us to it, but I know that Rod of Battle I dispelled. And you dispelled. So you used 3 dice to dispel my 3 dice Rod of Battle, which I was really happy with, because what, I know that if you let that through, I hit better. If not, you've wasted some dice. So I'm like, right, now you've only got 2 or 3 dice. I'm going to roll 4 dice. I think I did.
You rolled 3 dice at Awaken the Beast.
Okay,
I think
Awaken the Beast didn't get it off. Oh yeah, because I rolled 2, 2, 1. And I was, oh man, I was like, oh no, that's terrible.
Because it meant you might not get the 3rd one through at all. Yeah, I still have dice left.
But thankfully,
but
I did get this one through, and I think I was 3v2 or something like that. So I got it through. So I get it off on this unit and on my Kraken as well.
Because Frostbite, incredibly, is 24-inch range, which is massive for a buff spell like that.
It's crazy. So, I mean, he's now up to 3 up, and my trolls are now up to 4 up. So
yeah, really good.
Yeah, every little helps for sure, especially going second. No shooting, obviously. So we go to combat, and I do a decent chunk. You don't do anything.
Bombarders don't stand a chance. They
don't do anything. As in contrary to all their other combats, so they were just knackered.
I think so. Point. Yeah, they took a break after this.
But yeah, really happy for me, and it allows me to overrun into a mammoth with no counter charges. Kinda as well.
Kinda.
Just like this. So really happy about the can't grumble at all about that. Over this side, and it's a lot closer than this looks.
Tells a little bit of the story, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you go. I think you do 1 wound. I've got a feeling you do 1.
I can tell you exactly how many wounds I did, actually.
Oh, go on, please do.
I did 10 wounds to you. That got through your armor as well.
Oh, yeah.
But you've already said I did 1 wound to me. You passed 9 out of 10 4-up fortitude.
Yeah, baby. Lucky 4s.
Jesus Rimbos.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's only 4 above average, right? Because you should pass 5.
Sure.
So it's not terrible when you put it like that. But imagine if it had been you'd failed 9 out of 10, and it had been the other way. Yeah. I would have won combat by 3 if you'd have failed 9.
Yeah, because of
this.
I think I do like 5 or 6 wounds.
You did 6 wounds, which killed 3 Sabertooths.
Yeah.
Because they've got 2 each. And I lost by 2 or 3. I had a reroll, but it was a rerollable 9 actually. That they failed it because they weren't steadfast. Because you were actually steadfast.
Yeah,
you
had
more
a
ranks
rank
than me
as well. Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I think I ended up winning by quite a bit. You still had a 10.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah,
but if I hadn't done 9 out of 10, you would have had a chance. So
I think I lost by 6 actually, or something like that.
But as it was, I bombed. Well, absolutely nailed the saves and got through. And again, fantastic position on both flanks. So
so both those went massively your way, both in the fact that they were above average charges and both blow through, and now I've got no counters. So damn.
Yeah,
but
man.
Fair play, he got me.
So that leads us on to your turn and what you're trying to do to get back.
Yeah, basically I've got to think of a way to get back into this, and I knew you'd flee this one with the Warg, but the Tuskers didn't have a counter charge on the flank of the Kraken. So what I was thinking was instead of wasting a turn reforming to look at the Kraken and trying to predict his overrun, if that makes sense, but then you'd just move away in your turn if you killed the Frost Mammoth, and if you didn't, I'd charge you. I kind of thought, well, let's make a double move out of this and flee away your Warg. If I failed the charge, I would be angling myself towards the Warg, which meant I could see the Kraken anyway. So that was my thinking by doing that charge.
Yeah.
It would double up as a kind of swift reform if the Kraken stayed where he was.
Yeah. And I just wanted to flee massive so I could get out of the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
You also take, again, I left it, this was a double 6.
This was a double 6 now that you remembered the Swift Stride and the movement 7. I took it again, though, because, like I said, there was no counter charge on the Ice Trolls. And I really fancied that if I could actually get in you and start hurting you, it would be massively beneficial. And yeah, I thought things weren't going well with those two combats. I needed to force things. I needed to get a bit of a lucky roll to even it out. And hopefully it would work out for me.
But it doesn't. You rolled terribly.
Half, yeah. I rolled really low again on my charge. So
yeah, we would say you did have Swift Stride, and we did remember it. I just put in 3 there for
absolutely, because the other dice was a 2 or it was a 1.
Yeah, so don't write in for that. But your Tuskers do get my Warg.
Yeah, they do actually made it. So all that talk about a potential failed charge and a Swift Reform to face the Kraken, don't worry about that anyway, because it actually killed the Warg, and I'm stood in front of the Horseman, who would have to charge through the Death Forest.
Yeah, man. And out of Asklanders' line of sight as well. Interesting.
Bonus, yeah. Otherwise, I moved my Yetis, light troop Yetis, into the flank of the Behemoth. I felt that I wasn't actually worried about the Horseman charging them.
Yeah.
Because I thought, having played Essence, that my Yetis had a higher agility after Touch of Frost.
No.
But we worked out that no, in the main game, Yetis start at agility 3. And that would be the same as the Horseman after the Touch of Frost has taken effect.
Yeah.
So at that point, that looked like a good move, because I thought I would be attacking first with the Yetis. It worked out later I wouldn't be, but still interested how that goes. My other Yetis turned to face the Ice Trolls, not because they really thought the Ice Trolls wouldn't kill the Frost Mammoth over the next turn, more because I didn't really have much else the Yetis could do.
Yeah.
They couldn't march forward into the Huskars, they would have just died. So yeah, it was kind of like, just do that. Obviously my Bruisers failing the long charge again meant the Scraplings couldn't charge into the flank of the Kraken.
Yeah.
Which I ummed and ahed about, because technically I'd just be giving the Kraken a D6 stomp.
Sure.
But I thought with a charge, a flank, and 3 ranks, maybe that would make up the combat res I'd lose from dying Scraplings.
Yeah.
Either way, they couldn't get through. So
there was
the combat. Yeah.
Magic seems like a bit of a bust.
It does. It doesn't look like I did much, does it? Well, I've lost 2 of my spells, of course.
Yeah.
In fact, that was it. The Mammoth Hunter died, and so I'd lost Rod of Battle and Lightning Band Braces. And that left me with only Flaming Swords and Pyroclastic Flow on my Shaman, because he's only an Adept. And you, go on.
I've used the Binding Scroll. I remembered I had it, baby.
Yeah, you Binding Scrolled Flaming Swords, because obviously that would be important in the Frost Mammoth versus Ice Trolls, or this one. And so I literally had 1 spell, and you dispelled it. So game over for Magic.
Yes.
But in combat, this was an interesting one. My hand is covering up, but you did 3 wounds to my Frost Mammoth. I think you rolled 2 wounds, and it was 2 lots of D3 into 3 wounds.
Yep.
So not a very, a below average roll on the multiple woundage. The Frost Mammoth did 1 back. Obviously, we all are aware that is going to go the Kraken's way without me charging. But,
it meant I was 3 up on combat res because of the charge, and I do get you. We will say that.
Well, I don't think you did on that flank, actually. I think that
do we hold?
I think that flank I held.
But this one...
flank is the opposite story.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. You did 3 wounds again. Funnily enough, the Ice Troll's doing exactly the same as the Kraken. And again, I do 1 wound.
Yeah, it's just I was saving loads.
Yeah,
I remember.
yeah, it wasn't quite as prominent because I don't think the Frost Mammoth does as many wounds to you as the saber-toothed tigers did. But yes, it's an easy win for the Ice Trolls, and they are on a tear.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Away from the general, but I mean, just absolutely loving life and moving forward. So leading on to my turn, and I take this. We're hitting at the same time. I'm not particularly that great, but we are hitting at the same time at least. So my thought process is, worst case scenario, I'll do a few wounds, and then I maybe get a giant there or something like that to help out later on. When you're not fully strength. So
absolutely,
just do as much as you can, horses, please. I go over here because what else am I going to do?
Death Forest.
Death Forest. Let's tempt fate yet again. And I take a longish charge. I think it was double figures. I think it was 10 plus to get into there. Again, thinking if I get into there, great, because I have a potential overrun and all sorts.
Yeah, and we should mention that the Ice Trolls have done their turn 3 failed stupidity.
Yes.
So
did,
yeah. Just take note of where they are at this point. This is turn 3.
That's right. Over here, DT's
Death Forest.
Oh my goodness! Just take me out again.
Brilliant.
Fair play.
Should mention the Tuskers passed all their dangerous terrains when they went into the forest, but hey, who's counting, right?
Who's counting? And this is how it looks. Otherwise, I move my Asklanders on the right to face because they're probably going to have to do something over there. Huskarl's just happy where they are at the minute. I don't want to keep going back too much because of the objective, but otherwise all right. Chariot sticks with them for some help. The BSB on the Behemoth failed, so he's where he is, and the Asklanders on the left go full pelt because they're going to have to help the giant later on kill the Yetis, I think. So that's where we're at. And to confirm, the Kraken did. The other one did hold.
Yes, he did hold, yeah. I had my BSB and my Shaman there, and my General, so that was why.
Over into combat, I don't know how much magic I got off. I can't remember. Maybe
nothing over there, I don't think.
Yeah, but nothing over here. As you say, and I do 5 wounds. You do 3.
Yes.
And we stick around for some more juicy combat.
I think I pass a discipline test here, don't I?
Yeah, so I've done 5 plus a charge plus a standard. But you so 7. You do 3 wounds, and you hold. Yeah,
I think yeah.
Don't mind too much because you'll be at least stuck there. I'm hoping to do 1 more wound, basically to get rid of a Yeti, and then my giant goes in. So
yeah, of course. Now though, I will be attacking first because you're not on the charge. So that is in my favour. So I need to do it this next turn.
But it was at this point that your strength 5 AP2, we were looking at them and going, actually, 2 up armor is pretty good here. It was helping out reduce the wounds coming at me. Over here is not so good. Although I do 3 wounds, but you do 3 back.
You got Awaken the Beast on there by the looks of it.
Yes, there we go. Which helped get the wound off, I guess. We end up, I think, winning by 1, but you hold. Charge.
Yeah.
Possibly we both got standard.
I remember. Yeah, well, we do stick, so whatever the case.
So that carries on as well. Again, quite happy I killed 1, but I am going to have to deal with them at some point if I want to get this objective. It's
probably going to go my way on the grind, yeah.
So there you go, there's that. Kraken finishes off, he does kill him. And it's not my turn next.
It's pretty much the same result in the combat because you do another 3 wounds and I do 1, which is exactly what happened in the first round of combat.
You're going first, so yeah, you do 1 and then I finish you off.
Exactly,
I don't know how many. I got
true.
feeling
you may have
I
done more
over, but you only have 3 to kill, so.
I need 3 left, yeah.
Turns to face like this, in case the Scraplings want it, bro.
Maybe.
But the Yetis certainly do.
Yeah, I mean, this was a bit of a gung ho. Let's see if this actually pays off. I couldn't really move. I was light troops. I could have actually moved away, possibly not very far, but I felt like let's see if I can pop him because I am strength 5. I will be attacking before the behemoth. I mean, you have got 7 HP, so I don't think I'm going to kill you. But potentially flaming swords on there could help. Yeah, I thought I'd just be a bit gung ho and go for it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Bruisers finally see a charge that they can maybe make a flank charge into the Horsemen. So really, that combat carrying on worked in their favour. So declare that as well. Get in with the Yetis. Gulp. Is that a good idea? Probably not. And this one I do complete. So yay, the Bruisers have actually moved more than 2 inches. By turn 3 comes around.
After 3 charges, they get made one of them finally.
There you go. Yeah.
Not much
This
again in Magic.
Great.
Yeah, because again you can't do fireballs, so I just stop flaming swords, I believe.
Yeah, we'll see the other combat in a minute. This didn't go well at all. I basically bounced. I don't think I fled. I could be wrong. Maybe I did.
No, I think you held.
I think I held. But yeah, it wasn't great. In the combat when my Yetis are attacking first, though, obviously it does go my way. Did you not do any wounds to me?
I didn't, but I am steadfast because you're light.
You are steadfast,
troops, and I luckily hold at that point. Exactly. I think.
Which means your giant can now charge, which is
which is really good.
Looks like I did get flame balls on. Yeah, which I kind of realised wasn't massively effective on bruisers who are wounding on 2s anyway. But it's kind of like for stomps and impact hits potentially as well. And if you it might dissuade you from charging if my stomps are wounding you on 2s instead of 3s. So
and obviously demolish them and turn to face like so. You had to turn to face like in this manner as well.
Yeah, because of the room with the Tuskers. I'm not really very good at knowing whether I have to change to be 3 wide in order to do that, or whether I have to face the wrong way.
I get confused about the centre.
It seems like a real punishment that I've got to go 3 wide when I really would have liked to have been 4 wide. And let me know in the comments, because that's what I'm really confused about. I didn't have the room to face in this direction and stay 4 wide without my Tuskers moving outwards. What's the right thing in regards to rules there? Because I would love to know. We did it this way. I'm absolutely fine with it, because I just think it's a shame that if in order to face the right way, I have to have a lesser frontage. And I'm not clear on whether I'm doing that right. So let me know in the comments what you think on that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Over my turn, I do take the giant in. Let's see.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping. I mean, he won't go against him, so I'll only have the 5 attacks. But I'm hoping that does help me out there. I terror check the.
You'll notice turn 4, the trolls are still there.
Yes.
So my scraplings have decided to turn that way to see if they could actually charge the flank of the trolls, which wouldn't have been good for them, for the record.
But they end up getting terrored off.
Yep.
And I didn't take a picture, but my BSB and Asklanders go into the bruisers.
I think your Huskarls declared the charge as well.
Yes, I did. So what I wanted the BSB in, but I didn't want him alone because he would have just got wrecked. So I
Bruised.
And ideally I'd have him and the Huskarls, but I couldn't risk the Huskarls not getting in and BSB being on his own. So I took the Asklanders, hoping that I get both in and I'll just minimise the Asklanders. But as it happens, the Huskarls didn't get in, so I guess it was the right decision to the Asklanders in.
I think if your BSB goes in alone, he gets popped.
Yeah.
So you have to go against 4 bruisers and a spine splitter.
Yeah.
So
there's that. So that's why I do that, and we'll see how that goes. Really. Over here, I kill. I think I do 4 wounds.
You did 4 wounds out of 5 with your giant.
Oh yeah.
Fortunately, my Yetis, who are attacking at the same time as the giant, actually kill to a man all the horsemen. So I get points out of that flank at least. But yeah, Yeti's dead. That flank has gone.
Yes, he's dead.
I mean, we should mention the reason your BSB could charge. Clearly, I got that wrong. Was my Yetis didn't hold against him. He ran them down.
Oh yeah, sure.
So that to stop the charge.
And giant continues the rampage and mops up the Yetis over here, which is fantastic. Job done from his point of view. Over here into combat and just a whole load of death and carnage. You do 4 wounds to me, to my BSB, with everything going on, and 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9 on the Asklanders as well. I do a bunch of wounds. I think I did 9 wounds.
I think so. I don't think
as well.
I think it might be more because I've got a couple of wound tokens at the back of my unit as well.
Yeah. And so I think it's either a draw or I end up losing by 1. One or like minimal losing, but we all stick around because of the BSB and generals next to the Asklanders as well.
Did you stick around? I think your Asklanders fled.
I think. Well, this is after. Is this not after your combat?
No, this is straight away. You fled straight away.
Okay, so
because I reformed to face the wasteland.
God, my memory's terrible because it happened like yesterday.
Yeah, no, but actually, funnily enough, the flaming swords on the bruisers, you charging the BSB in actually made that useful.
Yeah.
Whereas I would have been wounding on 2s against the Asklanders.
And it was at this point we realised that the negative of a symbol of slaughter as well, which is +1 to hit. I was like, yeah.
So actually, you know, it isn't that surprising that my bruisers did 4 wounds to the behemoth because I was hitting on
3s, wounding on
3s. Yeah. So wow,
there's that. So might not have been the best thing to go in, but hey ho. And my Asklanders do run loads, so they go past everything. I pass all the checks though, and they're relatively out of
dodge.
Dodge, yeah. Over to your turn. There's not much movement. Tuskers don't come forward or nothing, and you kill the BSB. So
yeah, which is done. I mean, you do a few more wounds to me. I think maybe 1 or 2, but I'm attacking with my spine splitter before your behemoth, and I think my spine splitter finishes him off.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Which leaves everything like so, and you've just got that sort of like pocket.
Check where the ice trolls are.
The ice trolls haven't moved, and
we haven't forgotten them. They are doing their stupidity tests.
But sit tight. I don't move forward or charge anything. I move the Kraken around into the rear.
Scaredy cat. Scarification. Yeah, that new meaning.
I get a load of buffs off though.
So
I'm pretty happy with where my Huskers are. And I'm far enough away from the Tuskers not for you to get both easily. So I reckon I can take one of the units, but maybe not both. And right back at you. Decides not to go near the buffed up unit of Huskars.
You're going to back away and put Rod of Battle and Awaken the Beast on your Huskars, and I've already bloodied myself. I'm not going to charge into that. I decide to turn around and have a pyroclastic flow on your Kraken, pretty much, and hold the objective, which is obviously I've kind of got hold of. I mean, if you
with 2,
I did completely have a brain fart about what I was doing. I thought it was my turn 6, and then halfway through, you reminded me I had a turn 6 to come. Yeah. And I was like, oh great, I haven't screwed up.
It was kind of like it was kind of enjoyable to see. Oh no, I've screwed it up. Like, no, I'll wait. In my head, I'm going, oh wait.
I know, it was a good 5 minutes before you reminded me it was only my turn 5. Because all this turn, I was thinking to myself, I can't believe I've moved the Tuskers back on the last turn. Now you're just going to move your Huskars up and draw the objective over here. And you left it a good 5 minutes before you reminded me I still had a turn 6.
Did you not see the popcorn I was eating?
Oh, tell me about it. Your salty popcorn. Salty.
Yeah. So you have a pyroclastic go at him.
I do. I think...
take another wound.
Yeah.
But that leaves it for my final turn, and I basically just move up like so.
To get 1 on the objective, which means I have to move my Tuskers up to win it. And it does also mean I have to move away from the... I can't charge the Kraken because I need the bruisers to claim the objective. With my final pyroclastic flow, I do blaze the Kraken.
But only for 1 wound. So you get another wound to make it half points on him. And that, I believe... Yes, I'll just move us. Is where it ends. And
Ice Troll's still there.
Ice Trolls... just I don't know what has caught their eye. You know when like dogs go squirrel.
Yeah, absolutely.
But something has caught their eye.
Saber-tooth, my mammoth hunters, and a frost mammoth. Their job was done after turn 2, wasn't it? So
Well, it's that or a sexy female ice troll.
Female ice troll, yeah.
Skating
or maybe
around.
A fire troll.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which only some of them like.
Yeah. Wow.
Leaves us
Anyway.
with a. we could go on, but we won't.
Created a new unit for the next auxiliary army, fire trolls.
Yeah.
Work them out.
We drew the objective, as you said, because of
We
that
did.
last thing, which meant it was just down to points, and the Asklanders just edged it.
Yeah.
In the 13-7,
not bad.
enjoyable win.
Yeah, really good game. I enjoyed this battle so much. Playing with actual models on the table the whole day, on top of the Essence game beforehand. I mean, I know that, to some extent this wasn't a campaign story, because we didn't have the fluff to back it up with, didn't have character names, all that sort of stuff. But the idea of doing 2 battles, escalation battles, on the same terrain, for the same objectives, 2 armies, clashing once, and then backing off, getting some reinforcements, and then clashing again. And it was just brilliant.
It was good,
and
I say thank you so much, everybody, for your suggestions. I hope
we want more.
We did all of you justice, apart from the banana pie.
We forgot the banana pies. Are they still in your fridge?
They are all of in that fridge there.
Yeah. There's like 17 banana pies.
So maybe next time. But
if you want to take part in the next battle, the banana.
Absolutely. We challenge you out. We challenge you out, Aaron.
Absolutely. Yeah. Come out.
But no, on a serious note, thank you very much, everybody, for the suggestions, both on Patreon and on the YouTube comments. Please let us know anything else you want to do in the future. We do have some stuff coming up in the near future, which should be really interesting. But in the comments, let us know anything you need us to do in the future.
Yeah.
Let us know if you enjoyed this as well, because we do have all those other lists, and we can do that for loads of other armies as well. So if you enjoyed this sort of 2-parter,
if you enjoyed seeing Proxy again, because we haven't proxied in a little while,
it does let us do some units we don't have as well, which is cool. If you would like to add on top of that fluff, let us know. Basically, use this opportunity, guys, to put in the comments what you liked, what you didn't. What you want to see in the future, because as we've shown, we do try and listen to you, and we do try and incorporate it. And we
also let us know your thoughts about tabletop versus Warhall as well. We've done a lot of Warhall lately, but I personally really enjoyed going back on the table with models. Let us know what you want to see as well. Are you not massively a fan of the electronic battles? Do you like tabletop more? Is that the kind of content you want to see more of? And we'll try and bring as much as what you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. To the show. And say thanks very much for everything. Do hit us up on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for Gobbo, YouTube, obviously, the forum. Like, share, subscribe. If you're that way inclined, go to Patreon.
And you'll get a few days extra notice on a few opinion polls as well. So.
And as you say, it does give us a direct path to people to a chat in as well, which is nice. But otherwise, guys, thanks very much for joining.
Yeah, really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed it, and we'll see you again for something fun soon.
Yeah, man. We'll see you later with a banana pie in hand.
Or face.
Crazy.